All right, so today we're diving into something a little bit different,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
Instead of like research papers or news articles,
Yeah.
our source material is a Reddit post,
Interesting.
one that sparked a lot of debate
Oh, wow.
and concern online. We're talking about a woman,
Okay.
let's call her Ellie,
Okay.
who's reached out online for advice about her marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a raw, honest look at the challenges of new parenthood,
Yeah.
and it gets, well, pretty intense.
Oh, wow. So what's so intense about it?
Oh.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, well, right from the start,
Okay.
Ellie describes a level of exhaustion
Mm-hmm.
that's honestly hard to imagine.
Really?
She's exclusively breastfeeding her 7-month-old,
Okay.
who she says needs to nurse every few hours throughout the night.
Oh, gosh.
On top of that, she's battling mysterious health issues,
Okay.
rashes she thought were bug bites,
Mm-hmm.
and possible complications from celiac disease.
Oh, wow. So it's like a perfect storm of like physical ailment.
Exactly. And all of this is happening
Yeah.
while she's trying to care for a newborn.
A newborn baby.
And it sounds like she's shouldering the majority of the childcare.
Okay.
Her husband works long hours,
Mm-hmm.
and she mentions that their baby cries a lot when he tries to care for him,
Oh,
only tolerating him for short periods.
that's got to be tough.
It is. And you know, that lack of support,
Yeah.
that feeling of isolation
Mm-hmm.
can be incredibly damaging.
Absolutely.
It's a common theme in postpartum depression and anxiety.
Yeah. And when you're constantly on high alert,
Mhm.
meeting your baby's needs around the clock,
Right.
resentment can build
Yeah.
towards the baby, towards your partner.
Oh, absolutely.
Even towards yourself.
It's like a pressure cooker.
It really is.
And this is where things take a really disturbing turn. Ellie describes an incident where her husband tried to wake her up
Mm-hmm.
during one of the baby's rare stretches of sleep,
Okay.
and it escalated to the point where he actually smacked her.
He smacked her.
Yeah. And poured cold water on her face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a huge red flag.
It is.
While we don't know the full context of their relationship,
Right.
any form of physical violence
Yep.
is unacceptable. It crosses a line
Absolutely.
and often signals a pattern of abusive behavior.
And it's so jarring because Ellie goes on to describe
Yeah.
how her husband dismissed her need for rest,
Oh.
accused her of faking being asleep,
Oh.
and even told her she could starve when she brought up needing a break from their meal prep service.
Oh my gosh, that's just...
Yeah, that's awful.
It is. And the comments on Ellie's post were overwhelming,
I bet.
with many people labeling this as abuse and urging her to leave the relationship.
Yeah, I could see why people would say that.
Some even speculated that her husband might be intentionally sabotaging her gluten-free diet,
Really?
making her sicker and more reliant on him.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a serious allegation.
It is, and while we can't confirm it without more information...
It speaks to the level of distrust that can develop in these situations.
Absolutely. When someone is constantly being gaslighted,
Mm-hmm.
they start to doubt their own perceptions and instincts.
Exactly. And it's tempting to simply villainize Ellie's husband.
Yeah.
But I think we need to try and understand the broader context here.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Could there be underlying factors contributing to his behavior?
Possibly.
Could he be struggling too,
Yeah.
but expressing it in completely unhealthy ways?
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Yeah, it's a good point. New parenthood.
Right.
It's a pressure cooker for any relationship.
Yeah.
And we can't forget that men are often ill-equipped
Mm.
to deal with the emotional intensity of it all.
Yeah, they don't always have the tools.
Right.
Or the vocabulary even to express
Exactly.
the going through.
We're still living in a world where men are taught to suppress their emotions,
Mhm.
to be the strong, silent type.
Yeah.
So when they're hit with the sleep deprivation, the stress, the feeling of being sidelined by a baby who only wants mom,
Right.
it can manifest as anger, resentment, even aggression.
And Ellie did mention that her husband struggles to connect with her baby,
Oh, really?
who cries almost constantly when he tries to soothe him.
That's got to be so hard.
It is, and that must be incredibly frustrating and disheartening for him.
Absolutely. And that frustration can easily boil over into resentment towards the partner who seems to have it all figured out,
Right.
who's effortlessly bonding with the baby.
Right.
It creates a dangerous dynamic where both parents feel isolated and unheard.
It does, and it seems like communication has completely broken down in their relationship.
Oh, no.
Ellie says she's been trying to express her need for emotional support,
Mm-hmm.
but her husband responds with dismissiveness and invalidation.
Yeah, that lack of emotional literacy is a
Hmm.
major hurdle for many couples.
I think so.
It's not about blaming men,
Right.
but acknowledging that they often need different tools and support to develop those skills.
Yeah.
They need to learn how to listen empathetically,
Hmm.
how to validate their partner's feelings,
Right.
how to offer support without trying to fix everything.
Right. It makes you wonder if Ellie's husband even understands what emotional support looks like.
That's a good question.
Maybe he's trying to show it in his own way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's completely missing the mark.
Yeah. And that's why it's so crucial to
Yeah.
have open and honest conversations
Yeah.
about needs and expectations within a relationship.
For sure.
What does support look like for you?
Hmm.
What makes you feel loved and appreciated?
Exactly.
These are questions that couples need to explore together,
Yeah.
especially during major life transitions like having a baby.
And beyond individual couples.
Yeah.
I think we need a broader societal shift
I agree.
in how we approach fatherhood.
Absolutely.
We need to move away from these rigid gender roles
Yes.
that limit men's ability to be vulnerable and seek help.
I completely agree.
We need to create a culture where it's okay for dads to say, I'm struggling. I need support. I don't have all the answers.
Yes, I love that.
Because ultimately,
Yeah.
supporting fathers benefits everyone.
I agree.
It creates stronger families, healthier relationships, and more well-rounded individuals.
Exactly. When fathers feel supported and empowered,
Mm-hmm.
they're better equipped to be present and engaged parents.
Right.
And that, in turn, creates a more stable and nurturing environment for children to thrive.
So Ellie's story, it's a powerful reminder, I think,
Yeah,
that we need to be having these conversations
for sure.
about postpartum struggles, about the pressures on new parents,
Mm-hmm.
about the importance of healthy communication and support within relationships.
Absolutely. And we need to be talking about the signs of abuse, too,
Yeah.
both physical and emotional.
Right.
It's so important to recognize those red flags,
For sure.
not just for ourselves,
Right.
but for our friends, family members, anyone who might be struggling in silence.
Yeah, because even though Ellie shared her story publicly on Reddit,
Right.
so many people are suffering behind closed doors,
Mm,
feeling trapped and alone.
absolutely.
So what advice would you give
Yeah.
to someone who's in a similar situation,
Okay.
who's feeling overwhelmed and unsupported?
First and foremost, I would say, you know that you're not alone.
Hmm.
There are resources available, people who care,
Right.
and help is out there.
Yeah.
Reaching out to a trusted friend, family member, therapist, or a domestic violence hotline can be a lifeline.
Yeah, it's so easy to feel like you have to tough it out,
I know.
to put on a brave face,
Yeah,
especially when you have a new baby.
right.
But it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely.
It's okay to admit that you're struggling.
And remember, abuse is never the victim's fault.
Right.
No one deserves to be treated with disrespect, to be manipulated, or to be physically harmed. If
Yeah.
you're in a situation that feels unsafe,
Mm-hmm.
please reach out for help.
Ellie's story is a difficult one,
Yeah, it is.
but it's a reminder that we need to be talking about these issues
Mm-hmm.
openly and honestly.
For sure.
We need to create a culture where new parents feel supported,
Yes,
where healthy relationships are the norm,
absolutely.
and where abuse is never tolerated.
I couldn't agree more. We all have a role to play in creating a safer and more compassionate world.
Well said. This has been a heavy but important conversation.
It has.
And if Ellie's story has resonated with you, or if you're looking for more insights on relationships and personal growth,
Mm-hmm.
be sure to subscribe to Voices of the Soul
Yes.
and check out the YouTube channel Shauna Pelage.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.